What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Random Encounter Podcast, episode 167. I'm your host, James, and I am joined by the Gesture Master, the Dominant himself, Brian.
Live from Raccoon City.
And of course, we got the great Ace Attorney, Ash Destroyum.
Live from the Ark.
Stop copying my bits.
You don't even know where that's even from.
Where is that from,
That's the
actually?
funny
Okay.
part. Don't worry about it.
I'm thinking like Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Isn't that what it's called? Like the Eggman art?
Good reference, but no, that's actually that's actually the same game.
It's in the same game, you said?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm just a furthest end. I'm just a furthest end. That's the main difference between me and me.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
your hint right there. Yeah.
Well, we got quite a few things to talk about today. We're going to talk about some more Bluepoint news. One is actually pretty sad, and it involves Bloodborne, a potential Bloodborne remake. As well, we're gonna kind of give our thoughts on the our first look at the God of War live action and the Pokemon Presents as well. But before we get into all of that stuff, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow over on Twitch if you're on Twitch as well, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with some Resident Evil Requiem talk. I've been playing it. I know you guys have been playing it. And I gotta say, I'm gonna give my thoughts first because I'm playing on Nintendo Switch 2. And it actually looks really, really good on Switch 2. I was kind of worried. I watched Digital Foundry's like video where they were going in the ins and outs. And I think like, I was thinking in my head, like after I watched the video, it's like I kind of wish or I miss the days of old where I wasn't really into like resolution and frame rate and stuff like that, where that didn't bother me. I just picked up a game and played it and just had fun. I kind of wish that. And I hate that I'm nitpicking on frame rates and things like that. I was streaming it on Friday and I kept looking for the imperfection. I can't talk today. I don't know why. I kept looking for the imperfections. So like anytime there was weird like anti-aliasing issues, there were some weird like ghosting effects, stuff like that. I just kept looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's not right. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. But anyways, once I kind of shut off my brain and just went into it, I do gotta say, the game's amazing. Loved it. I was worried in the beginning because I did not like the beginning. Oh, and tell me how you guys thought about it. I did not like the opening parts because I thought the whole game was gonna be, oh, here's 10 minutes of Grace, and then here's 10 minutes of Leon, and then you're back to 10 minutes of Grace, and then back to Leon. I was like, no, like I don't want that. It reminded me of Revelation, and I know the director of Requiem is also the director of Revelations. And I was like, that worked great on the 3DS because it was a 3DS game, but I don't really want Requiem to be that way. Luckily enough, though, it's not like that. You guys are probably way further than me. I haven't played as much, and not only that, I lost my progress because I died, and I did not save it, so I had to go all the way back.
Doesn't it autosave?
I'm playing on classic, so it does not autosave.
Yeah. I'm also a classic. I'm
Oh,
also a classic too.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
playing it on classic.
yeah, and part of me was like, man, I should switch it to modern. It does not auto save, so if you died and you did not save, you're done. You
You're
have to
going
go
back.
back to that save point, and that happened to me, and I was kind of sad. I should have saved it. I also the only reason I didn't save is because I didn't have that many ink ribbons, but I unlocked the
Mhm,
ability to do the blood, and you can like mix it to create ink ribbons.
mhm.
So I had
Oh,
unlocked
nice.
that. I just completely forgot about it, and I was like, great, like I could have made ink ribbons, and I could have done
So you
that.
could have done it, but you just didn't.
Exactly. But anyways, like I'm loving the
Gotcha.
game so far. Like it's great. Graphically great on the Switch too. Performs so far as like a steady 60 FPS. There's like a small dip in when you're Leon and you're fighting like the area where you fought the chainsaw guy. There's a specific corner, and it's only that corner. If you go there, it dips frame rate for some reason, but the minute you leave that area, it's good. And then there's a dip in portable mode where so the part where like the kitchen dude is where he's like the chef
Mhm.
where he keeps hitting.
Chopping.
Yeah, so you know how you pass all of that, you pass the dude who's shutting off the lights, and then there's these stairway where you go to like the second and there's the
Mhm.
third floor. When you get to that staircase, for whatever reason it drops frame rate pretty bad. Like it probably goes into like 20s, like 25 maybe on portable mode, but it's only that staircase. Luckily, nothing really happens in that staircase, but like you go to the second like what do you call it, floor, like just that part where the staircase is, it drops frame rate really bad. If you go to the third floor, it's back to being 60 FPS. If you move away from the staircase, it's back to being 60 FPS. So some weird stuff, and I do think that that's not like a big deal. I don't think it's a deal breaker because it hasn't really bothered me. But the full on gameplay, like solid, love it. Leon's a beast. It was just so cool to go ahead and like the firefighter zombies when they're coming at you, you kill them and then you pick up whatever spear, whatever they had, and you just throw it at the
Mhm.
other zombie. That's pretty dope. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. A lot of people are saying this is probably the best Resident Evil game, and I'm not sure yet because I'm not that far. I only got to the part. I only opened up the East Wing again because I died in the East Wing. I had done everything in the East Wing, and a little bit after that is when I died. So I'm redoing the East Wing all over again
So you didn't go
because
into the West Wing yet?
is that wait, which is the first one you go to? West Wing I thought it was the West Wing you go to first.
Y- I don't remember. Like, did you do the thing with like the? Oh, you did because you got the blood thing. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So okay, so you did that part.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I did the area where the chef is was what I thought was the West Wing, but that might be the East Wing
Hmm.
actually. And then I did the other wing where you get the blood stuff, and all that other stuff. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. What about you guys?
So you so basically you're at the part right now where you're kind of trying to tackle, or have you gotten the first cube or the first little quartz thing, like that
Yeah,
first puzzle with like the sun, the moon? So you got the first one.
yeah. So I got I think the moon was the first one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
not the
because that's
second one yet though.
no, I haven't. I got that.
Okay,
Because I think that's in the East Wing, or no, wait. Yeah, that's in
yeah,
the East Wing because that's the one on the right. So I think that's in that wing, but that's where I died. Because the last thing I
yeah.
did
You have to go
was
upstairs and get it.
did I go upstairs? I don't remember. I know I got
You have to go upstairs.
lost.
You have to melt. You have to melt a lock with
Okay,
corrosive.
okay, yeah,
So if you
because
don't remember doing that, you haven't done it yet.
yeah, I was I went in the circle, got out of the East Wing, or I got to like the door where the East Wing is, and what happens? I got jumped by the zombie that has like the little IV stand, and then there's the other one
Hmm.
that's I think cleaning the floor or something, or maybe they're eating somebody on the floor, and I ran out of bullets, so I had no bullets or anything,
Mm,
and yeah, then that just killed me. um,
gotcha.
yeah,
So our thoughts. I love this game. I'm playing it on PlayStation 5 Pro. Um, I bought it on PC as well, but I decided I wanted to play it on PS5 Pro because I have the platinum for Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil 7 Village, and Resident Evil Village. I have the
hmm,
platinum for all those games, and so I kind of wanted to keep my platinum streak going on PlayStation and get that as well. Maybe. I actually heard the platinum of this game is pretty cool. Like it's not like crushingly difficult, but it's like fun. So I might actually do it. I think this is fantastic. The thing about like the 10 minutes each thing. So I am a lot farther than you. Ash, how far are you? Just so I know kind of spoilers, what to talk about.
I said I was live from Ark, so and you didn't know what that was, which means I'm further than you.
Yeah, I think you are farther than me. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what arc is. Yeah, okay. So I just it's not a spoiler to say you go back to Raccoon City. Like that's like in like the
yeah.
cover art or whatever, you go back to Raccoon City eventually. So I just got past the part, Ash, where there's like they shoot mortars at you, like from those buildings, they're shooting
Oh
mortars at
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I thought that
That's
was
what I
funny.
just
I thought that
finished.
was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
That
funny.
was cool. So yeah, so this isn't a spoiler at all. This is just kind of a good thing to know because I too was a little leery about kind of how the cadence of the gameplay sections were going because you played as Grace in the hotel, and that's just basically like a tutorial, like moving around,
Hmm.
checking objects, getting some of the story stuff, getting like the aesthetic and everything like that. And then after that, you play Leon, and Leon's section is literally a tutorial. It's like 3 minutes, and you just run through the
Yeah.
street and you just mess stuff up, and it's awesome, it's badass, but it's not a real section. I would wager to say. And then you go back to Grace's, and Grace's section is I would even say even more of a tutorial than her first section, like where you do the little puzzle and the girl chases you with the light and the
Yeah.
and all that, and then you go back to Leon again, and the hospital wing, um when all those like the chainsaw guy attacks you and stuff like that, and then you have to go get Grace, and then that's like kind of where the game begins, I would say, in a way, is when Leon, when the thing happens with Leon and he hands off the Requiem, and then Grace's section starts, and like that's kind of like where I really feel like the game truly begins in a way, because then from then on you're going back and forth. But what's interesting though is that like Grace's section, that whole hospital section, is like, it's several hours long to go through it the first time. Excuse me. And then you go back to Leon, and Leon is again kind of a smaller part. Like it's cool because you go back and you mess up all, like that was one of my favorite moments in the game so far, is when you're going through the entire hospital as Grace, and you have to sneak around and just be so scared and so vulnerable, and like you have 2 bullets for 20,000 zombies, and you have to like use those bullets wisely. And then you go back as Leon after you finish that part, and you are a walking armory, and you can just kill everything, and it's so satisfying because you're like, oh yeah, you thought you were big stuff, watch this, and you just like eviscerate every zombie in the place. It's awesome. So then that part's like kind of short, and then you go back to Grace again, and she has another kind of like a longer part. And so the cadence is definitely like long Grace, short Leon, long Grace, short Leon, relatively. But then after something happens in the story, you're playing as Leon, and from what I can tell, I think you're probably going to play as Leon majority of the rest of the game. And so at that point in the story, I feel like it really makes it so the gameplay is probably 50-50 at the end of the day. Like after you finished it, I bet you probably spend around the same amount of time with both of them, give or take, close enough anyway. So I think that's awesome because I think it marries the 2 gameplay styles of Resident Evil extremely well, because I was a little worried about the dichotomy of how you have the section with Grace and it's very limited and very vulnerable, and then you go to Leon and you just kick ass. And I was worried about the Grace parts not being fun because you just like want to go back to the Leon parts where you're killing stuff. And they both offer their own thing, because Grace's is a lot more puzzle driven and a lot more about like getting to new areas and getting this item to do this and all that stuff. And Leon's just straight combat for the most part. And they're like both halves of the same thing that like you like about Resident Evil. I mean, at least the newer ones. I mean, the Resident Evil 2 and 3 and like the original like PlayStation ones, that's not really, I mean, the combat's serviceable, it's fine, but you don't really play those games for the combat generally. Like it's just kind of there. But starting with the remakes with the third person shooting, like that's like the combat has an awesome hook. It's really fun. So I just love how they put these 2 things together, and they fit so well, a lot better than I thought they would. And so I'm loving it. The story is really interesting. Leon is like the king of one-liners. Like I've never heard of a human being that talks in one-liner before. Like that's his language, is one-liner. Which I think is really funny. Like, you have, and it's been pointed out on Twitter where it's like, what's his name? Gideon will like get in his face and he'll be like, when was the last time you brushed your teeth? And it's like, oh, Leon with your one-liner dad jokes. And then you have Grace like screaming and running around trying not to die. And you have a cool Leon giving quips, it's kind of funny. Trying to think what else I want to say. And then, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, James, but like a little bit on Twitch, but you were playing Grace's section in third person, and I just, dude, here's the thing.
I
if you played the game, you agree with me or you agree with James?
I agree with you. I know what you're about to say, my man, and I agree. I'm about to agree with you on that, because first person is like king for Grace. I love Grace.
It is. Here's the thing. If you want to go back and play Grace third person, 100% with you. I totally think, because I might go back and play it third person too, but it's like Capcom, the makers of this fine game character right here. They had a vision for this game. They wanted you to play Grace in first person because she's vulnerable, to make it more intense, etc. I understand what you said on Twitch, that it's kind of more traditional to have a third person. That's more Resident Evil. Fair. But 7 and 8 are fantastic games, and it really does up the horror aspect when it's first person. And I think it's kind of like if you went to a Gordon Ramsay steakhouse and you ordered it well done and put ketchup on it. That's kind of what you're doing with the third person. Maybe you go back to the steakhouse after you had a medium well, or a medium or medium rare, New York strip or whatever, and you go back and you get the sirloin, medium well, and you put some A1 on it. Like that's fine, because you had the real experience at the Gordon Ramsay restaurant with the real stuff. But the fact that you don't even give it a shot, James, Killing me, bro. Killing me. So those are my thoughts on
I mean,
Resident Evil Requiem.
I
Love
would have
it.
to disagree. I saw some side by side footage of both, and I've seen people saying like this is the way to play, and I honestly don't see the difference. Like, there's really no difference between third person, first person, except that you can see Grace versus you can't see her. Because like the camera angles and everything, even when you're trying to peek the corners, are exactly the same. You have to aim so you can look over, so you can see on the other side of the corners. You can't just look at the corner and move the camera. They actually blocked it so you can't like fix it so you can see around the corners by rotating the camera. So that's, I guess, the only thing that you can is like if you're running
Well, if
away.
there's no difference, then you should have no problem playing in first person then, right?
I just don't like
No
first
difference.
person. I do not like. I don't like anytime you give me an option of first or third person, I'll always play third person. Like Battlefront 2, remember the remake that came out? I played that in
Mhm.
third person. It's like I played this originally in third person. I'm gonna continue to play in third person. I'm not gonna do first person. In that game, third person was actually cheating because you have a wider field of view, so you can actually see more enemies too. Um, but yeah, like I don't see the difference. I saw some side by side comparisons with no spoilers, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like if I want to see if there's a zombie on the side, I have to aim so I can look over and see what's in that hallway. I can't just go over there. The only thing is where is if you're running away from a zombie, you can run and turn the camera to see how far away it is from you. That's it. That'd be like that's the only thing that's different, I would say. Because you can't, I mean, technically you can do that. You can turn around and walk backwards, but it's, not the same. Yeah, go ahead.
I got nothing else. Ash, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like a bit of a comment about first person versus third person. When it comes to like playing in first person, it adds a bit more of a fear factor from Grace's and stuff, especially when you're in really dark areas dealing with zombies and you're low on resources and everything. And it further heightens like the whole atmospheric tension when you're playing out throughout Grace's level. And when you put it first person on Leon, it feels like I'm playing the last level of a Resident Evil Village as Chris Redfield at that point. So I'm just like, yeah, let's not do that, if anything. So I'm mainly going with Capcom's vision on how they want us to play it first, and then once I'm done with that, then I'll go back and just switch it back to
Yeah.
third person, see how it feels and stuff. And when I switch it to third person to test it out with Grace for a minute, I also wasn't feeling it. I like her design and how she's running, but it's just the third person, especially when I went to dark areas as I was testing out, it didn't give me the same feel at all.
Well,
So I had to
Hey,
also,
Ash.
switch it back to.
in third person, there, I don't know, I don't think this happens in first person, but in third person, Grace falls like randomly and you have to wait for her to get back up.
Yeah,
Yeah. So does
yeah,
that happen in first person? Where you're running away from
yes,
an enemy
I
that's
think so.
chasing you, and then you'll fall down. Like Grace will literally just randomly fall down. You have to wait
yes.
for her to get back up and continue running. I'm not talking about like
Like wait
Um,
for her to get back up.
yeah, like I'm talking about fall down, and you had to wait for her animation of her to get back up to continue running.
I feel like that's happened to me. I could be wrong though. But
I don't
something
recall
else I
that,
just wanted
but
to say
yeah.
real quick about the first third person thing is when you're playing it in first person, you are Grace. When you're playing it in third person, you're watching Grace. So the horror isn't as immediate because you're watching somebody else's experience. And so it's not as like, this is me. And that's what makes the horror so much more potent in first person because you're through her eyes. So you're like her proxy. Whereas in third person, it's kind of like these unfortunate series of events is happening to her. So this this doesn't affect me. Now the only thing that I'll say about third person that's kind of cool is that you can see some of her reactions and stuff, and her body language could be kind of interesting to get more of a feel of the character. But it's just not as immersive in third person.
Yeah. Real quick before you
Yeah, I
continue,
mean that's
Ash.
that's why that's one of the what's
Real
up?
quick, Ash. I want to apologize. I don't know what is up with my connection. I just keep losing connection through Discord. So for everybody watching this stream, I apologize because you guys keep like cutting out and then cutting back in, and I don't know what's going on.
S- Same goes for y'all as well. I don't know what's going on with Discord.
Okay, so it could be Discord then. Okay, it's not just me. All right, all right, continue,
Yeah.
Ash.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, but essentially when it comes to that's why I believe Resident Evil 7 will like really succeed really well in first person because it really honed in on that horror aspect of Resident Evil and everything. Now, I know other Resident Evil games did in second person and third person, but it wasn't as it definitely wasn't as fearing compared to like Resident Evil 7 and 8. Well, 8, it was a bit more arcadey at that point because we're outside of the baker's house and all that kind of stuff, but that's besides the point and stuff. With Resident Evil 9, it combines like the elements of Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7, and also Resident Evil 4. All those three games
hmm
into one patty, and what you get is almost the best Resident Evil game. Almost,
A
almost. I
delicious
feel like
sandwich.
yeah, I still think Resident Evil 4 remake is my favorite out of all of them, but this one's literally almost my favorite one because I also love Grace Ashford. Grace Ashford is one of those kinds of characters that is more a bit more realistic and more related to the audience because it's more like imagine you throw yourself
How we would
into
react in that situation.
huh? Hmm?
That's how we would react in that situation. Just
Exactly.
like terrified out of our minds. Yeah.
Imagine you throw yourself into that universe and shit. And when you
Yeah.
see her interact with other characters, she's always have that speech impediment when she's stuttering and everything.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
My
Yeah,
this
this
issue
is
with
chat sounds like
her,
butters.
the actress is so good on nailing that for Grace. She did an
well,
extremely
my
good job
issue
of
with that is like right away from the beginning, I was getting mad because it's like you're an FBI agent and you're coming in here freaking out. Like if I was that police officer in the beginning, I'm like, are you sure you're an FBI agent? I don't think you should be over here. Like,
Well, she's like a forensics person, isn't she?
Yeah,
I don't
she's
think
a
she's like
forensics.
she's like what's her name from Silence of the Lambs, like Jodie Foster's character Clarice, I think. Like I think I don't know how much the shit she's
Yeah,
seen. Like I think she
her,
got
yeah,
chosen maybe because of her history and because of like what her specialty was and what her
yeah.
knowledge was.
hmm
her main job was to mainly investigate the crime scene and figure out what exactly caused the said murder. So she's there after the climax.
Yeah.
She's not prepared for the climax
Right.
stuff. So you can't really blame her for that kind of thing. And on
Right.
top of that, the reason why she's a bit more scared because she's literally facing her trauma. That's where her mother died, essentially.
Yep.
So you have to
That's true.
remember,
Yep.
like when she's going back there, she's going through so many different mental struggles just by going back over to that same hotel and everything and stuff. And you have to understand that from her perspective. As she's going through the dark
Not
areas,
to mention it's scary
you
by
always hear her
itself.
shivering and breathing. Yeah, breathing, panting. And yet through all that, she still treads forward, man. That's a very, very powerful heroine in my book. She is honestly,
Yeah.
I love her. I love Grace Ashford. And I hope she gets like a nominee within the Game Awards as a best
For
voice
voice
performance
actress.
because
She
she did
should.
an amazing job as
Yeah.
voice actress. Yes, 100%. Yeah, deserved that 1,000,000%. But yeah, I love Grace Ashford and her gameplay. Leon from Resident Evil 9, the 51-year-old, he's interesting, right? Because there's a couple of things where I'm like sometimes thinking, I'm like, bro, I think you could have stepped in and did something about that. And we all seen this from the trailer where they're Leon's stepping inside to Victor Gideon's mansion or whatever hospital, whatever you want to call it, and the lady escorts them to
Yeah.
like this area, this room, and
Mhm.
then the zombie comes out of nowhere and just chainsaws the hell out of her. He could have done something. Like he could have done
I
something
know.
about that, or
Yeah.
like he just
You
waited
didn't tell
there
me you
and
didn't notice
watched.
that dude
And
was
there's like some
not
other
like off in any way. Like I
yeah,
agree
yeah.
with
I
that.
mean, it could have been age. It could have been age, bro. It could have been age.
Hey,
Catching up to him because
he's going through his own
confirmed he was
He's losing
trauma.
a step.
He's going through his own trauma. He's like, oh shit,
Yeah,
a chainsaw. Like I haven't dealt with that in a long time.
His mortality.
yeah, like it's interesting. And then like there's other things where he kind of missed. I got to go back and like what he did, and but I still like Leon. I just wish there were certain things he could have do a little bit extra to prevent a certain thing happening from happening, if anything. And all the story is mainly just tying back to Resident Evil 2, especially, which I'm not going to go further into that because it seems that Brian, you haven't really figured out about some other factors, so I'm not going to talk more into
I
that.
don't think so.
But yeah, I'm liking how everything is being pieced together essentially. And I'm wondering because I haven't finished the game yet. I was hoping to finish the game before the podcast and everything, but there's certain things kept getting in the way. But I'm definitely almost done with the game though. But there's definitely a lot of fun aspects to the game. I love both third and first person. Leon's early 2001 liners. I eat them up. I eat them up like it's hot wings. I love them so much. It's great. It's everything about the game is just almost perfect. The graphic fidelity of the game is also amazing. I have to give it to Capcom. They did a fantastic
Hmm.
job with the release of the game when it comes to optimization. That was insane. I couldn't believe that once I went in, I turned on ray tracing on the high, put everything at max. I'm still above 100 FPS. Now, granted, I'm on the 9070 XD, but I'm thinking, man, if this is well optimized, I wonder what it looks like on the Steam Deck or something like that at that point, because
Hmm.
you don't have to do much in it. So it just shows Capcom like really what went in when it comes to like make sure almost every system can at least run this game at minimum 3 FPS, if anything. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. Hats off to them. They really did a fantastic job with this game. And once I'm done with my first playthrough, I'm pretty sure there's an achievement where I need to beat the speed run of the game essentially and stuff. And I might do that soon, right after I'm done with my first playthrough, because I want to like bang all the achievements out of the way so that way I can move on to other stuff. But yeah, Resident Evil
What are you
9,
playing on, Ash?
highly
And he's still
PC.
playing on PC.
PC? Okay. What kind of GPU do you have?
9070 XT.
1970 XC.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, because I have my best friend who's playing it right now is playing it on PC with his 4090, and he says the path tracing is just ridiculous. I haven't played it on my PC yet. I'm going to, but I'm looking forward to seeing how just incredible it looks on a maxed out rig.
So what's funny? I do have ray tracing, but I don't have path tracing. Funny enough,
Yeah.
I may have to like edit some files to get path tracing unlocked. Essentially, I don't know if it's only tied to NVIDIA technology or something like that. But I know for a fact I can use path tracing on Cyberpunk. So I'm pretty sure if I could do some bit of modifications within the engine INI file to unlock path tracing, I might be able to test it out and fully give it a whirl and see how that looks and stuff. But even without path tracing, the game still looks gorgeous regardless.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Reach for the Moon. That's the name of the engine. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
That's
it's
funny.
freaking beautiful.
I think
10
all of
out of
us thought
10.
it was the Resident Evil engine, and then they came out saying like, no, it's Reach for the Moon engine.
I mean, it does make
Reach for
sense
the
because in
moon.
Japan it's
Yeah.
Biohazard. Why would
Yeah.
they call it? Maybe it's just it's a happy coincidence.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure they're
100%.
aware though.
And
Like in my head, I think they're aware because they specifically named it Biohazard Resident Evil and then Resident Evil Biohazard for Resident Evil 7. So it's like I think they're aware of like the different like translations or anything like that. But like, yeah, I still prefer the Resident Evil engine. I think
yeah,
that's a
makes
better
sense. But
name.
Well, it doesn't help that the logo's creepy, so you kind of associate it with Resident Evil,
Yeah,
like with the hand, with the
exactly.
moon, like you think it's Resident Evil coded.
Yeah, exactly.
makes sense. Yeah. And then there's a certain section in Resident Evil 9 which immediately calls back to one of the modes within Resident Evil 2. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but when I was going through it, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute. So did they plan this game ever since that mode in Resident Evil 2? I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but yeah, I was kind of bewildered from that. I was like, oh, this game has been in the planning stage for a good while now,
Yeah.
which is insane. So, but yeah, I'll stop from there. Amazing game. So yeah,
I'll
Yeah.
finish it by next podcast for sure, and I'll give my final grade on it. Right now, I'm saying I'm leaning towards like a 9, probably.
funny. Yeah, so same here. I'm leaning towards a 9 as
Yeah.
well.
It's my
Yeah.
game of the year 2026 so far, but I mean that's not saying much.
I know
It's
it's
only
only
been like
2
2 months,
months. Yeah.
3
Yeah,
months. Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully I can
yeah.
finish it by the end of the podcast. Or by next podcast. We'll see because I definitely want to finish it because I also want to dive back into Pokemon Leaf Green. Like I played a little bit of it,
and Eternal
and
Darkness.
yes, and I definitely gotta do Eternal Darkness for sure. That I'll be continuing on stream for sure. So this upcoming Friday will be Eternal Darkness. But yeah,
Good man.
I was playing a little bit of Leaf Green, and it's just Leaf Green. It's literally the GBA game. They just ported it over, and yeah, it's fun. I never played Fire Red and Leaf Green because at that moment I was just kind of like not into Pokemon. So I just didn't really care. I thought it was too cool for Pokemon, so I never played Fire Red and Leaf Green. Um, but yeah, going back to Resident Evil, I actually thought that I was gonna regret getting it on Switch too, but I definitely don't regret it. Like I'm impressed. It definitely looks better on like PC and PS5, especially with the new PSSR2 that it's using, which is the first game to utilize the revision or revise PSSR, which is kind of cool. And I've seen like other videos. It's like wow, like that looks really really good, but nonetheless, it still looks great on the Switch too, and I'm glad I can play it like in bed, laying down, or whatever the case might be. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, eventually I'll pick it up on PC and then replay it for sure. That I will do because I own every Resident Evil game on PC. I'm gonna own it again on Switch too. So yeah. See, Juno, I believe, X Juno. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. Says, what if Goku never was dropped on the head as a baby? Do you think the Z fighters could take him down? There would be no Z fighters
I
because
think I am more qualified to answer this question,
yes,
James.
Bryant.
Excuse me. How
Yes,
dare
answer
you?
this question. Yes, you know
The
everything.
answer is yes.
Yeah, there would be no Z fighters. Yeah, there just would be no Z fighters. He's the one that got everybody together and technically got everybody to train harder. So yeah. Do y'all think they will ever make a real Resident Evil movie? I don't know. Like, isn't there a Resident Evil movie in the works?
Yeah, there's one coming.
Yeah, I thought so. Like, it's supposed to be like an original script that takes place in the universe, but its own characters, and it's supposed to be more like Resident Evil. I think, right? Am I correct in saying that, or am I
Yeah,
making that
I'm
up?
I'm trying to think who's directing it. Let me look it up.
Yeah. I hope it's a real Resident Evil movie because like definitely the movies that we got with what's her name, Mia whatever.
Mia Jovovich.
Yeah, I was not a fan. The other one that came out that I think was on Netflix was a little bit better, but not by a lot. The one that has like
Are you talking?
Chris, Jill, Leon, and
Are
Claire.
you talking about Death Island?
No, not the animated one. The live action.
Oh,
Yeah, the dude that did Weapons is making a Resident Evil
Oh yeah,
movie
that's
that's
right.
coming
That's
out
who it
in
is.
September.
This September?
Zach Kreger. Mhm.
Oh wow, we haven't even seen like a trailer or anything.
Mm-mm.
that sucks. Is coming out during September because I'm also going to be in Japan again during that month.
Hmm. There you go. More Dragon Quest goodies.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's move on. Let's start talking about since we're on the topic of live action movies. Let's talk about that God of War live action. What do you guys thought about that screenshot? Because I know me and you, Brian,
Uh,
shared some back and forth on Discord, but yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know.
I think
I'm not a big fan. So it's I listen. I like Kratos, but Artreus, man, the cast that they did for Artreus, I wish he looked a bit more like 12 or 13 years old. He
Yeah.
looks like he's 6.
yeah,
I that's my problem. That's the only problem.
yeah, that is the problem because Opie from Sons of Anarchy, and he also is Gary Bertier and Remember the Titans and stuff.
Hmm.
I think he looks really good as Kratos. Like I
Hmm.
think that's as good as a job as I think you could
Yeah.
be, for that role. The kid, way too young from like what I would think Atreus would look like in that role. You like Ash said, I would figure he'd be like 12 or 13, and then in Ragnarok he's like 15 or 16 or something like that, and he looks like a little kid that it just it it's just weird looking.
Hmm.
Um, so it's really a tale of two sides because I think Kratos looks great and I think the kid looks too small, but maybe he'll have some serious acting chops. Maybe he'll be like what's her name? I can't think of her. The name of the chick that plays Ellie in The Last of Us.
Oh, for Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey, yeah, maybe it'll be like a Bella Ramsey situation where she was really young in Game of Thrones, yet she had like such a presence that just catapulted her to all of these,
Yeah.
to The Last of Us, and people thinking she's like this great actress. And I think she does a serviceable enough job in The Last of Us, but she really inhabited that role as I forget what her character's Mormont. She's one of the Mormonts. In Game of Thrones, like that was such a great role for her because she knocked it out of the park. So maybe this
Yeah.
kid will, just by looks, it doesn't look like anything special, looks way too young, but maybe he'll just inhabit the role where he'll really make something out of it. I guess it remains to be seen.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, I think that's the only negative. Like, no offense to like the kid. It's just that it doesn't look the part. And typically, especially when you're making a game or a movie based off a game, you want people to look the part. It was kind of, going back to the Resident Evil movie, the one that was on Netflix. I didn't like the way Leon looked because that definitely was not like Leon. And when I saw the actor who was playing Leon, I was like, yeah, you're not Leon. I don't know why you're there. You're more like Leon because he was like, he was like a Hispanic guy. I was like, you're not Leon. Like Leon is this dude that's got like this, specific cut, and then yeah, he just has this aura around him. Like Leon. When you see him, you're like, yeah, that's Leon. um I mean, we'll wait to see, but I agree with you. The actor, I forgot his name, but the actor who plays Opie and the dude from Remember the Titans, like he does a
Isn't it Ryan Durst or something?
yeah, it is Ryan Durst. You're right.
Let me look it up.
I think he does look like
Okay.
Kratos. They did a good job of making him look like Kratos, and yeah, like I'm still excited to see where it goes. Well, hopefully it's a good what's the right word I'm looking for? A good like I can't think of the right word. Adaption. There we go. A good adaptation of God of War.
Representation? Mm.
Yeah. Representation, adaptation, either or. Ash, any thoughts?
Yeah, I just hope the movie does well. I mean, I don't know if I forgot it's a TV show or a movie.
TV
I
show.
forgot. But
The TV show,
TV
I
show.
think.
Okay, cool. I I, uh, I just really hope they just change the casting for Atreus. That's the only nitpick I got because when every time I look at the image, I'm just like, what the heck? He's 5. He's 5,
You just said he was
man. I
6
don't
earlier.
know.
Now he's 5? Man, you're just gonna keep going lower.
He keeps getting younger and younger every time I look at the damn image, man. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's just, bro, you gotta be looking like 12 or 13. Like, listen, if the kid was 5 or 6 in the game, then I would have been fine with it. So
Yeah.
it's all about looking the part, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. I normally don't give like video game show adaptations that much notice, but like I may give it a shot for God of War and other
Mhm.
shows too. I might also give that Fallout 4 show as well. Wait, is it Fallout 4 or just all
Just
Fallout?
Fallout.
Just
Fallout.
Fallout? Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
You haven't seen
Yeah,
Fallout?
nah,
Oh, it's a
because like
fantastic show.
I played Fallout before on the I played Fallout 3 and I also played a bit of New Vegas and then 4. I couldn't really get really neck deep into it, so I was like,
I don't like Fallout.
why would I get into a TV show if I don't like the game? You know?
Yeah.
I don't like the game, and the show's great.
I agree. Like I
Oh,
don't like
really?
the game either,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed the show too. I haven't finished the second season, but like I do like the show.
It's
It's
very
pretty
good.
good.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, I'm not the Western RPG guy. So like usually Western RPGs I'm kind of like, eh. But like the show is really good. I do give props
Right.
for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on. Let's move along with some more Sony news, which has to do with also single player properties. And that is Sony might be focusing their single player initiative back to exclusivity on consoles, which is very interesting because it looks like they're walking back their original process of putting their games on PC and PlayStation. And instead, it looks like they're going to have their single player games specifically or exclusively on PS5, where Wolverine being the first game to be PS5 only. What do you think about that? I think on the business side, and actually to preserve the way gaming is, I think it's a good thing because then that kind of keeps the PlayStation ecosystem going, right? Because now you need a PS5 if you want to play Wolverine and any other game coming in the future. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Ash, because I know you haven't bought a PS5. You're the only one of us who doesn't have a PS5, and that's really because every game has been coming to PC. So what do you think about this?
So what I personally think is that they should have just stuck with the PS5 and never released anything to PC at all.
Yeah.
Why would they listen? Like, even though it wouldn't benefit me at all as primarily a PC gamer, they should have stuck to their guns and stick with PS5 exclusives on the PS5.
Hmm.
And now they're rolling it back.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of even doing that in the first place? You know. So like, whatever they want to do and stuff, I don't really care as much. I kind of like lost hope on the PS5 a long time ago, per se. So if it turns out if Wolverine becomes PS5 only, I'm perfectly fine with that, or any other game going forward at this point. Because for one thing, I already have a roommate that already owns a PS5. So if I really want to play a game that bad that's on the PS5, I would just borrow my friend's PS5 and play it off of that instead. You know. But I just, in my personal opinion, I felt like they should have just stuck to their guns and like stuck to their guns like Nintendo and keep their first party PS5 titles only on the PS5. So stuff like Ghost of Tsushima stay on PS5. Both Death Stranding games stay on PS5 because I know for a fact Death Stranding was supposed to stay on PS5, but they say, you know what? No, Kojima, put it on other platforms. I'm like, bro, what? Like, what are you doing? And then there's like so many other games that should have stayed on PS5 and stuff, because I too also want to like preserve like the traditional way of how console wars was, if anything, because people say, hey, we got these games and stuff. Meanwhile, you have these games and some people. Certain consoles were known to have specific exclusives, and Nintendo still keeps that title. But when it came to Xbox or PS5, at that point, it didn't even matter anymore, because both of those games from both platforms are going to come to PC anyway. You know, but yeah, it's not really going to make me go out and buy myself a PS5, PS5 Pro, really, because I don't know. Sony themselves, they're definitely not the same Sony that I remembered back then. I kind of just lost I kind of just lost faith in them, because they just don't know what they're doing, especially when it comes to higher ups and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got from me.
I mean, I agree, and I think Brian, you probably agree too, right? Where Sony should keep their single player games exclusive, or do you have different thoughts on that?
I I understand the mindset behind why they did it, because I want to say the first game that they released for PC might have been Spider-Man.
Yes,
I want to say like that's where they
no,
dipped their toe in.
no, Horizon. No, it was Horizon. It was a PS5 exclusive. Like Horizon was literally their PS5 mascot.
PS4, yeah. It was PS4.
PS4.
Yeah.
PS4/PS5. But still, you wouldn't think Horizon will be on PC. But let me just stop right there. Let me let you cook. My bad. I'm just
No, it's okay. I just want to see something. Horizon Zero Dawn PC release date.
Yeah.
Okay, so it came out on PC August 7th, 2020, and then Spider-Man came out
2022.
I thought God of War came out after Horizon.
Yep, 2022.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So, all right. Well, regardless,
Yeah.
I think what it is that, so what Sony's calculus was it's two opposing sides. One side is putting software everywhere to make it so they generate as much revenue as possible from games that they're not really making that much money from more anyways, because it's been on play. Anybody that wanted it on PlayStation would have bought it by now. So like, for example, Horizon came out on PC in 2020. It was out on PS4 at that point for 3 years. So like the sales already would have happened for it by and large from people that really wanted it on console. So releasing it on PC, you're not diluting the PlayStation 4 sales because it was 3 years after. You're just going to get more PC sales on the back end. And I think that's kind of what their strategy has been going forward, is that they're doing these timed releases because they want to get the brunt of it on their hardware so they get the most from it, and then they can sell even more software as just kind of like a little bonus at the end of it. But then the other side of that scale is, how much are they diluting the value of their brand putting these games on PC? Because if you can get it on PC eventually, why should anybody own your hardware?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like in the middle. Like, I want these games to be experienced by as many people as possible. Like, I have a friend or two that plays pretty much exclusively on PC, and I want them to be able to play the games. Like, I'm not one of these console warriors that gives a crap about like, oh, Sony, PS5 games need to stay here because I'm a PS5 fanboy. Like, I don't care. Like, I want these games everywhere. I mean, the only thing that I do care about is that it can kind of, in a way, dilute the value of having a console if it comes out day and date with a console release, PC and console release. So then the more they do that, and the less the time period is between release date on PS5 and release date on PC, it just starts to feel like, why am I playing on a console at all when I have an extremely powerful PC that can run these games better? Like, yeah, I might have to wait 6 months, but I have enough of a backlog where I have more than enough to play for that amount of time. So I can kind of see both sides. At the end of the day, though, yeah, I'm glad that they're kind of reining in a little bit, because I do think that they've gone a little too far to the other side, where they're just giving away all their properties to PC, even if it is a time later. Like, I'm trying to think, Death Stranding came out I think in September, August, September, I want to say Death
Yeah.
Stranding 2, and then Death Stranding 2 is going to come out on PC next month. So that's going to be 6 months, give or take. And so that's like kind of where I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I'm glad it's coming out because I want everybody to play that. I want Kojima to have success. But when you're talking strictly about the brand evaluation, bringing these first party titles to PC, that's where I do think they can be a little bit more conservative and really appreciate what they have in the console market.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like my take on this is I do not as a fanboy, but I do think that like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo should keep their exclusives, right? Going back to the era that I grew up in, is like I bought a PlayStation because PlayStation had exclusive. I bought Xbox because Xbox had their games, and I bought a GameCube or whatever the case might be because they had their games as well. And I think that's what keeps the ecosystem running, and like not only that, but it drives innovation, drives all these unique properties because everybody's trying to one up each other. And honestly,
Yeah.
that's why how we got to where we are at with gaming. But like to me, since they started going multi-plat, it just seems like everything started falling flat. Like the more everything started blending together, there's not any creativity. Like I'm the type of person where I think truly to have unique experiences, and all of our best, if you got to think about it, like all of our best inventions and everything out there was because there was some type of constraint, right? You had to do something on, whether it's like a small little space or whatever the case might be, to create something great. And you had to work with all of that. And that's how we got all these great properties because, hey, this game was Game Boy exclusive, so we can take advantage of all the
Mm.
Game Boy hardware and we can do these unique things. And they had to try to find
So
ways to do certain things with it. Yeah. What are you saying?
you're saying kind of like how, so for example, like one of the best gaming soundtracks of all time, the most like some of the most classic gaming music
Hmm.
comes from the NES era, where they
Yeah.
had to make almost miracles happen on such limited hardware, and
Correct.
they're considered immaculate. And it's like a lot of modern games that has all the technological improvements in the world. It's like few and far between. You kind of have a soundtrack that like really is special. So
Yeah.
like I can see what you're saying there.
Yeah, and in the same sense, like in game development, like even to this day, Nintendo properties are always unique because yeah, the Switch One, right, it was underpowered compared to PS5, but they knew what they had and they worked with what they had and they found different ways to have that unique experience. Where I feel like the PS5 era specifically, like that started kind of going away because it was just like a generic experience. But when there were certain things like Astrobot that had PS5 exclusive features, such as the gyro, the triggers, and everything like that, it is super cool to play a game that utilizes those things. And it's like, I want more of that. And I hope that, PlayStation continues to go back, specifically with single player games. When it comes to multiplayer games, I think I kind of get it. Like, if you want it to be a live service, it should be on all platforms because you're gonna need to keep that service going forever. But for single player games, I think it just makes sense to having it locked to one platform. Now, again, I'm not a fanboy of any means. I'm not saying, hey, like PC players, like, you know, screw you guys. Like, you guys don't deserve that. No, by any means, like, it was kind of cool to see Spider Man, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, and Horizon on PC and see it take advantage of like the ultra wide screen effects and all that other stuff. But at the same time, I think for PlayStation to continue to exist as a property, they need to focus on their console because PlayStation really is the console. I mean, look at Xbox. Xbox is just dead. It's Microsoft gaming now. And I don't think that benefits anybody, honestly, when it comes to just gaming innovation or anything like that. Because now in our heads, it's really just Nintendo and PlayStation. And then, of course, you have PC gaming, which it's good for third parties, but when it comes to first party support, there's really nothing like that. So that's my thoughts on that. Um, mhm,
I think their overall theme here is you and I, James, want the console exclusives mainly because we can attach like a label or identity to those said
yeah,
platform stuff.
yeah,
And for so far, from what I see from PlayStation, it's just PC.
yeah,
Because at that point, why do I need to buy a PS5 if Sony has, to me in my head, so when Sony has already given up partially on the PS5 and already pushing their games already onto PC already, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm like, I'm sort of maybe happy, a little happy that they're going back on focusing on the console first, but Lord knows when they actually backtrack on that and say, hey, screw it, let's put all our games onto PC again or something like that,
Yeah.
because knowing with this upper management these days, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Like when you mentioned, you have no reason really to get a PS5 because of that. Like I have a PS5, but it's like I have no really reason to use it because if I want to play Spider-Man 2, I could just play it on, unless I have PlayStation Plus, I can play it right now, but like I can buy it on PC and play it on my Steam Deck or play it on something else. And that kind of eliminates the version. But for me to play Final Fantasy 7 Remake or Rebirth rather, I had to use my PS5, and that was like really the last time I used my PS5 was for that. Well, I played a little bit of 16 as well, but like that's really the last time I really used my PS5 was for Rebirth because it was exclusive on PlayStation, so I used it there. But now everything else is available on PC for the most part, minus Ghost of Yote. Um, that's it, right? Just Ghost of Yote. I mean Gran Turismo,
Yeah,
I
I think
guess,
so.
or in Demon Souls.
I don't even I don't even know if Ghost of Yotei is even confirmed for
And
PC.
Astrobot.
Oh, and Astrobot.
Yeah, Astrobot.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in the future, and hopefully, Sony sticks to that and gets more creative and bring back Sony Japan Studios because they need to come back. We need Gravity Rush 3. Um, but while we're on the topic of Sony again, let's talk about Bluepoint. So some breaking news came out a little bit after the podcast, maybe the next day, I want to say, where apparently what happened is Bluepoint actually did pitch a Bloodborne remake. And apparently Sony was okay with it, but From Software is actually the company that said no, not to touch Bloodborne, which is interesting. What do you guys think about that?
What are the sources on
This was, I think, was it Jason Schreier, I believe, is the one that posted that. That he had
Yeah,
a
it's been widely
source.
reported.
Yeah, he had a source
Hmm.
that came in and said that they did pitch Bloodborne and Sony was okay with it, but From Software didn't want. Which is kind of weird. Like a lot of people are like, why do Souls or allow Demon Souls but not Bloodborne? And I'm kind of iffy on that too, because I'm like, to my knowledge, Bloodborne is a Sony property, so they can do whatever they want, unless From Software owns a portion of that. But I don't think so, because it's kind of like,
Demon Souls was
Mhm.
also a PS3 game, so maybe it needs it more. I mean, Bloodborne, I think
Yeah,
the internet consensus is that like it doesn't even need a remake, or it just
yeah,
needs to be brought up with like 60 frames per second, maybe up the resolution and call it a day.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. That's
Like
true.
a PS5 update, essentially.
Yeah,
And but we never got that. We never got that at all.
yeah.
So we were just
Right.
asking for the bare minimum.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I do agree. Like Jason Schreier, he's pretty good. He has definitely sources, so I kind of believe his reporting, but I don't. Well, I definitely believe what he says. I just don't know if I believe the person that's saying this. 'Cause I don't know. I just find it weird. But he was interviewing Bluepoint employees, and that's where he got that from. Um, I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird that From Software would just say no. Not only that, like From Software would have the power to say no when this is a Sony property. It's not a From Software property.
My my only problem with this story is that, yeah, of course, Jason Schreier reported it, but at the same time, the information he's going based off is like a he said she said moment from
Yeah.
somebody from Bluepoint, right? And it could be one of those things where, let's say, I work for Bluepoint, but I'm the person that has the least amount of privileges when it comes to you accessing data or something.
Yeah.
And Jason Schreier interviews me and said, and I said, oh yeah, freaking Bluepoint pitch Breath of Fire 4 and they got approval from Capcom and stuff, but Sony didn't want to go through with it, right? Like, but the thing is, just because I'm from Bluepoint, that doesn't automatically mean that my information will be 100% correct.
Yeah.
So I think Jason Schreier had enough confidence that this might be 100% true per se, but and I believe in that within the story, he didn't like literally bring up the name of that said person because that person might get in a whole lot of trouble
Oh yeah, for
with
sure.
probably with Sony. Or Bluepoint is not defunct now, but possibly from FromSoft, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, if that person would have said, "What are you gonna do?
So
Fire me?" Like,
basically, yeah. But it's just I don't know. I would say like its validity is probably like 70 to 75%, really only because Jason Schreier was the one that reported it and everything. But it's weird that FromSoft doesn't want the remake to happen. If anything, it's weird. It's a
yeah,
weird thing to say. I don't know. And maybe it could be something because that for the longest time FromSoft wanted to do something with Bloodborne, but Sony kept denying him that opportunity.
yeah.
And then when Bluepoint came to the picture and wanted to do the remake, so FromSoft is like, oh hell no, that's our baby. You can't touch it or something like that type
Right.
of deal, you know. So and me just saying that like you need to take it with a grain of salt at that point because like you said James, like uh, um Bloodborne is supposed to be owned 100% by Sony.
Mhm.
All FromSoft did was develop the game and stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't know how they had any word into that decision in the first place,
Yeah, and
if anything,
they
right?
co-developed
So
because
it's it
Japan Studios also was part of the development process.
yeah, 100%. So I'm just thinking there's something that's not right here because Sony has legally all the authority to like green light that whole project from the get go.
Yeah.
You know, it could be something to where from some told Sony, hey, listen, if you green light Bluepoint to remake Bloodborne, then we're not going to do any further contracts with you ever again when it comes to any new Souls like title or something like.
But you know what's
It could have been something
funnier
like that.
though, right? Is Sony owns, I think, half of Kadokawa, which is from
Yeah, and
Software's parent
Kadokawa also
company.
owns FromSoft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. This whole thing doesn't make any sense. Because what do you mean? Hey, FromSoft that doesn't want this to go through, even though Sony already said yes. It's like it's basically saying that hey, grandfather said I can make this game, but his grandson told me no.
yeah,
Right?
it's like,
Like it's so the story itself it's just it's a bit weird, a bit iffy to me. You know.
mhm.
It's I don't know. Like I said, no hit to Jason Schreier whatsoever. I just think the guy from Blue Point maybe has some things wrong a little bit from his
Yeah,
point. And I don't know like what position or what title he holds because if he was just a developer, maybe he may have some info on it per se. But if it's somebody like a project manager, then that title will definitely hold a lot more weight to that interview or something like that,
mhm,
you know. So, but yeah, that's all I got to say about that event.
mhm. You have any other thoughts on that, Bryant?
No, not really. I mean, the only thing that I think is just so blatantly obvious is their reluctance to just literally put a dollar bill under the ground and watch a money tree explode like 10,000 pinatas. The game would have cost them nothing. They could have farmed it out to Bluepoint, who would have licensed it, made it pretty, bring it out 60 frames per second. That would have been an amazing thing to end a state of play with, or just drop it one day like in an announcement trailer coming out next month. The internet would have imploded with how much goodwill that would have been. Like, how many people want this game? I mean, I'm not a big From guy. I've wanted to get into From games forever just because how critically acclaimed they are. But I just am not either smart enough or stoked enough to get into them. But I appreciate the fact of how diehard the fandom is for this game, and
Mhm.
I think that Bluepoint did a good job with Demon Souls, from what I've been told and what I've seen.
Yeah, they did.
That the idea of bringing Bloodborne to current gen with no, because I understand like From has their own stuff. Like they have that Dusk Bloods game. They probably have
Mhm.
a couple of other unannounced things that they're doing. Like this is such an easy
Elden
W
Ring as
with
well.
no effort by them just to give it to an accomplished port studio that did Shadow of the Colossus, did all these amazing port or remakes or remasters of games. It takes them no effort. and they're just like, no. And I don't get the thinking behind that, because they would literally be printing money for whatever next project that they want to do. And the only thing that I could see them doing this for would be if they have their own Bloodborne thing going on, like their own remake, like from the
Yeah.
ground up for PlayStation 5 Pro or later. Like this is something that's in their itinerary down the line, is they're planning on revisiting the property with a sequel and maybe a remake of the game from, the PlayStation 4 era. So if that's the case, like, fine. But you know what? I almost think they could double dip, where it could be like a Last of Us situation, where they could have Blue Points remake, and then 3 or 4 years or 5 years from now, they come out with like another one for the next console,
Hmm.
and you could buy it again. And I bet there'd be tons of people that would triple dip and really wouldn't think too much about it. But it's either going to be that, where they're going to do their own property, or they did a tremendous own goal by not having Blue Point do it, and then they just do a sequel in a few years to it and just, again, print money.
Yeah. I mean, from software, I think what you should do is not worry about Bloodborne and worry about bringing back 3D Dot Game Heroes, because that game deserves to be available on modern platforms. It
You
is.
know what? There's one Xbox game, or there's one From game I really do like. It
Mhm.
was on Xbox, those Otogi games. Those games are really cool.
I don't know which game that is. What is it called?
Oh, it's called Otogi. What's it? Myth of Demons. Hang on a second. Otogi. Yeah, Otogi Myth of Demons and Otogi 2 Immortal Warriors. If you look up gameplay of that on YouTube, they are amazingly gorgeous games. They're action games,
Okay.
and they're Xbox games, and they're actually on Xbox backwards compatibility for Xbox Series, and they're gorgeous games. Like the art style, because it's one of those things you're talking about where they had limited. It was an Xbox game that came out,
Yeah.
in the early 2000s, and so they had limited resources, yet they made a game look beautiful and very appealing to the eye, and very cool to play. So I definitely encourage you to check that out.
I'll take a look in that. I didn't know that. Yeah, published
Yeah.
by Sega. Interesting.
hmm
Has anybody here played 3D Dot Game Heroes?
I have.
Okay.
Very cool.
Assume you, not you, Ash.
Nah, I haven't even heard of those at all.
It's basically Zelda, like Link to the Past, like OG Zelda. It's really good. Like
Okay.
it's a cool callback. My favorite part was that like there's like a character creator, so you can design your hero to the T, right? So it's like pixel art, so you can actually design each pixel and make him look however you want. But there were some presets, and one of them was Ricky Maru from Tenchu, and I was like, oh man, like that brings me back. That's another one. Bring back Tenchu, because that state of play where was it the state of play? Yeah, the state of play where I thought there was a Tenchu game and it wasn't. Got me sad. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about our final topic. And that is the Pokemon Presents. There's not really much to talk about the Pokemon Presents, because like there were a lot of it was like a sizzle reel. Honestly, like they showed like Pokemon Sleep stuff, the mobile game stuff. The biggest thing was Pokemon Champions, which a lot of people are waiting for, is coming out in April, which I thought was going to be launching like right there in that moment. That is Pokemon Company's new competitive game, I guess you can say. So where they can kind of focus and do whatever they want on the other mainline games, or on like, the Legend series. They will have Pokemon Champions where you can bring those Pokemon into there, and then you can actually play competitively. They're going to be using that now in the Pokemon Championship, the Worldwide Championship that they do. And that's kind of like the game that they're using going forward. I believe it is a one-time purchase, if I remember correctly, but everything else in the game is kind of free. I don't think you have to buy anything, so you can actually, level it up organically. You don't have to pay for like XP or anything like that, which is kind of cool. But that is coming out in April. Then you have Pokemon Gale XD, or Gale of Darkness XD, or Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, which I thought we were gonna get Coliseum first, but Gale of Darkness XD is coming out this month in March sometime, which is kind of cool. I remember playing a little bit of that game on the GameCube when I was at a cousin's house, but I haven't really like played it. I was hoping for Coliseum because I think there also is a story between the two. Well, not I think. I know there's a story in Gale of Darkness, but it ties to Colosseum, so I figure like you probably Colosseum would have came first because Gale of Darkness has some references to Colosseum, but whatever. I guess they thought that that would be the better game to announce, and I think that is the more popular of the two games as well when it comes to the GameCube Pokemon games. But that is coming out on the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube app later on this month. Of course, we got Pokemon Leaf Green, Fire Red that came out also same day. I picked up Leaf Green. I jumped into it, played a little bit of it. It's just Leaf Green. Like it's literally just a Pokemon game. You boot it up, everything's the same. All the buttons are the same. There's like nothing changed. There's nothing specific to the Switch version except that they added telemetry data on the game, which is kind of interesting.
Oof.
Yeah, so
Mm.
basically they are analyzing what Pokemons you're capturing, what Pokemons you're using in battle, what places you're visiting and stuff like that, which is kind of weird. But a lot of like video game companies now have telemetry data where they kind of like analyze the stuff you do in games and they gather that data to see what they should do in the next game. So that's kind of interesting there. But that's kind of like the only thing. There's a lot of people also who's messing around with the ROM in the emulator. And apparently, there's code for Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald inside the game, which is interesting. So speculation there is we might possibly get Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald in the future, which would be pretty cool because I think they were pretty cool GBA games. I would love to revisit Emerald for sure. And then the big announcement I would say for this is actually a miniature Game Boy that plays Pokemon music. No, that's not the last big announcement, but that was pretty cool. Like it was kind of cool to see that miniature Game Boy where
I
it's
have thoughts
using.
about that.
Well, what are your thoughts on that? I thought it's cool because it's Game Boy hardware with the cartridge, and apparently they're using the actual Game Boy hardware to reproduce the sound. So that's why it sounds like exactly like the Game Boy does. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I appreciate the fact that it's original hardware-esque and the sound is authentic, and I appreciate the purity of that. I think that's great. The fact that there's like how many carts?
Like
50, 60,
yeah,
45? What is
I
it?
think it was like
Something like
77 or
that?
something like that. Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay, maybe. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If okay, I'll put it this way. If they did a version of this that's like a Game Boy and it's one cart that has a, I don't know, what, 32 gigabyte memory stick in it or whatever,
Not
in the
even.
cart, or I don't know what the least amount of storage you can have, but let's
Probably like
say
1
like
megabyte.
5
Not
gigs or
even.
10 gigs or 12, whatever, and you have all of the files on that and you play the music through that. I even think that's kind of archaic because who's going to carry around a Game Boy in their pocket to listen to Pokemon music? Like,
Yeah.
that's very like Walkman. It's just not very practical. But like, okay, I can understand that kind of from just like a collector's point of view. Like, oh, this is original Game Boy music on the original hardware. That's cool. But the fact that there's that many carts, it's just not practical at all to like swap carts out to listen to songs.
Yeah.
Like, this is 2026. Like, we don't listen to music that way anymore. And again, I understand it's collectible. It's like kind of cool, kind of in a way, I guess, but it's like what, $70 or something like
Yeah,
that, 60 or
$70.
$70. And it's just, you could go on YouTube and, listen to the soundtrack there, or any other myriad of ways you can get the soundtrack to those games. And I mean, I know that it's not the same as like a Game Boy speaker, but is it really worth $70 and 70 pieces of plastic you have to switch in and out to listen to the Pallet Town theme? Like, really?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, man.
so here's the thing, right? I'm not a purist when it comes to that, but I can see this to appeal to two different kinds of people. One, collectors, and 1,000,000%, because, ooh, and they're going to make some bank off of that. And then
Yeah, it's already sold
secondly,
out.
yeah, I'm not surprised. And then the second is there are certain audiophiles out there that can like understand its ultimate purities of Game Boy music, and it is insane. It's insane. I saw YouTube videos of people doing video essays on why you should play all the original GBA games on original hardware, and it's insane. And they go like 30 minutes to an hour about how the 16-bit music sounds so much better compared to like doing it through an emulator or on modern consoles and stuff. I'm just like, wow,
Well, yeah, because they had
that's
specific like hardware for the sound. and they had to
Yeah,
utilize that.
exactly. It's like similar to CRT TVs back in the day. And honestly, that's why companies now provide the CRT filters and stuff, because to emulate that feel when you're
Yeah.
playing it on an actual CRT TV. Because at the time, devs were limited on the amount of colors they can actually provide within the game itself, so they had to figure out a way on how to properly display those colors on a CRT TV. So to answer your question, Brian, it's mainly towards those two kinds of people at the end of the day. And if people wanted to listen to that music through its purity from a actual Game Boy, then at that point, after I saw some videos on it, I understand. Ain't
I
for me though. So it's
I
not for
I
me.
think it's kind of cool. I like I get it. I agree. Like I thought in my head, like man, I gotta swap out cartridges for that. But it is kind of cool that each cartridge, like for example, if you're doing Pallet Town music, it when you put it in, it looks like you're in Pallet Town. That is kind of cool. But yeah, I also understand like yeah, swapping it out is I don't know. I thought about getting it, and then when I saw that it was sold out, I was like, well, I guess it's not meant to be. So because it is still cool as a collector's item. I mean, I have this. I just gotta get the sticker, but this thing that fan printed me, it's a giant Game Boy cartridge, which I think is kind of cool. That being said, this was not $70 though, but like this is kind of cool as well. But yeah, that was not the big Pokemon announcement. The big Pokemon announcement, of course, is Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves. That was leaked last year, and basically, for the most part, it looks like everything was true. You can go underwater. The trailer shows for sure that it looks like you can go underwater. The whole being island aspect, I think in the leak it said that it's supposed to take place in the Hoenn region, but it's like a little bit out of ways, but it's like close by, which is kind of neat. I'm very curious to see like how the gameplay is gonna be and like what's the story. Is it gonna be gym battles or is it gonna be something else? My biggest thing with it, and I think everybody knows, is the graphics. They're actually good. The graphics are actually looking good in this game. Like doesn't look like it's gonna be a Scarlet and Violet thing. I know already people are complaining that it looks like it's 30 FPS. I'm fine with 30 FPS if it's turn-based, like, yeah, whatever. Could it be 60? Yeah. If they utilize, DLSS, it probably can hit 60 for sure. Maybe add a quality or in performance mode. But nonetheless, the water physics look great. Like the waves look amazing. The water itself looks amazing. The gameplay, like the shadows look amazing. This does look like a step up for sure compared to what we were getting with Scarlet and Violet and all the previous games. And it definitely looks like they're using a different engine because everything else just looks a lot better. Even the Pokemon look a lot more detailed than normal. What we know about the game is there is the winds and waves, depending on which version of the game you get. Your character will have a different outfit, which is kind of interesting. Like one of them has like a white, like I don't know, is it like a cowboy, like a fedora or something like that hat? The other one is like a blue hat that you have, and you have like blue clothing. That'll be for waves. They showed off the starters. I think the starters are cool. The first time in a while where I think I like all three starters, and I think they all look great. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more to the was it Gekwa, who's the water one, but I also like the what's his name, Braum, I think, or something like that. The chicken Pokemon. Also leaning towards that one too, because those are pretty cool looking Pokemon. What else? Yeah, that's it. I mean, not much that we know about except that it's coming 2027, and yeah, hopefully we'll see it in the future Nintendo Direct. How about you guys? What do you guys thought about that announcement?
Love the dog.
The dog one. What was his name? What
Yeah,
what
the
are, what
fire
were their
dog.
names?
Pom Dom or something like that.
Let's see. I think
Oh,
you're
it seemed like orange or yellow
Yeah,
or something like that.
he's
yeah.
Okay.
orange.
Let's see. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Pombon. Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think it has the most derp face, which I like.
Oh, I said Brom for the chicken is Brout. I don't know where I got Brom for or from. Oh yeah, the professors. The professors are now, if you have Pokemon wins, it is Mr. Windychew. Pikachu is your professor. And then if you have waves, is Miss Wavychew, which was the female Pikachu that they showed next to the other Pikachu. And that's the waves, I guess, professor that we know of as of right now, which is kind of cool. But go ahead, Brian.
I don't really have anything else to say. Looks good. I will say that in regards to the Pokemon Direct or whatever, that
Mhm.
surprisingly, I'm actually thinking I'm gonna pick up Pokepedia, or not in Pokepedia. What is it?
Pokopia or yeah, I think it's Pokopia. No,
Pokopia. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I think actually they said it is pronounced Pokopia. I think yeah, that's how it's officially announced.
Pokopia.
Pokepia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up. It looks really cute. I like it.
I I thought about that. Oh yeah, they did announce that. I forgot to announce that or talk about that. They did announce the Rotom DJ where you can play classic music in there. I think that is kind of cool. I thought about picking it up because I really like Dragon Quest Builders 2. I thought that was like, it's the same developers doing this. The downside is so far I don't see any action. I was hoping for some action, so we'll see. It does look like it's like a cozy game, which I don't mind. I love Harvest Moon Back to Nature back on PS1. Like that was like one of my games that I went to, and then I bought it again on GBA when the GBA version came out. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm eyeing it too, and I'm probably will pick it up. Ash, any thoughts on Winds and Waves at all?
I funny enough, I never seen the trailer, but I did see images like of the starters and everything. The only thing I would say is I'm just really hoping Game Freak actually puts more effort into like the overall presentation of the game and stuff, especially when it comes to like adding more voice acting to certain scenes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not asking to do voice acting for every line they do in the game, but if you're gonna do like big scenes with certain important characters, or only tie the voice acting to like main quests, do that or something. Because it was so off-putting when you have that one female character from Scarlet and Violet that was like doing the whole motion. We were zooming onto her with some different feel effects, and she's mute. I'm like, what happened? What? It's so anticlimactic. It's insane. So I'm just really hoping that they're actually putting effort into the development, the
Yeah.
presentation, everything. And yeah, I don't know. It's I want to continue to support the Pokemon games, but if they haven't like learned from what they did from last time, then what's the point of me supporting this game in the first place? I want to see more. Well, see what comes out from it. I don't care how perfectly graphic the game looks, because I know you're talking about how the waves look in the game, James, and everything. But I just want to
Mhm.
see if they actually do the bare minimum in the other categories of an RPG stuff from that point
Yeah.
in time.
I think yeah,
And
definitely
hopefully they do that.
definitely you should look at the trailer. I think you might have some separate thoughts on it, but I agree. Like gameplay, of course, is always first. So I am curious about that. I can care less about voice acting. Like that. That to me just never bothers me. Whether it has voice acting or not, but gameplay for sure is the biggest thing that I'm interested in. Um, I was gonna say one thing and I completely forgot. Now.
They need to up their animations too, because
Hmm.
since then I feel like the best animations they had was from Gale of Darkness. It was a GameCube game
Yeah.
out of all things.
Well,
So
in
hopefully they up that too.
Legends ZA, they did good with the animations. So
Was it
they
better
did.
than Gale of Darkness though?
I've never played Gale of the Darkness, so I can't say.
Yeah, yeah. Once it comes out, man, you got to give that a shot, man.
I
Because
I
Gale of
will.
Darkness, yeah, it's one of those things where why Game Freak definitely took a step back when it comes to like overall production value
Hmm.
into their Pokemon stuff. It's just that's the stuff I'm like harping on a lot. Now the voice acting, that'll be brand new for like a Pokemon game, but the stuff that you already know how to do, but yet they're lacking on it. Come on,
Yeah.
for crying out loud. But we'll see,
Yeah.
we'll see.
When I play it, definitely we'll have to revisit this conversation when I play it.
Yeah,
But like,
sure.
because Legends ZA, they did really, really good with the animation. I was impressed. Where they had unique animation for a lot of the moves. It wasn't just a copy and paste. For some of like the bigger moves, which was kind of cool. Where compared to Scarlet and Violet, like every move was basically the same animation. It was just them stepping forward 1 foot and that's it. Um, so they did a good job with Legends ZA for sure. But yeah, Pokemon Winds and Waves coming out 2027. So next year, which is good. Gives them time to cook, right? So we don't get another Scarlet and Violet situation. So I'm happy. I was hoping it to be this year, but I think in the leaks they said it was going to be next year anyways. So that gives them time. They can release Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, especially if this takes place in Hoenn. It makes sense to release the Hoenn games so you can kind of explore the other parts of the island. So yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully we'll see more. at the Nintendo Direct that's gonna happen in next week. I'm calling it next week, Nintendo Direct, because Mario Day
Wow.
is what, Tuesday, right?
Of next week.
March 10th, right? Mario, yeah. So I think it's
Yeah, that's
next
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I'm calling it. It's gonna be that Thursday,
Love your
or maybe
optimism.
Tuesday, on Mario Day itself.
I like how you're saying that, Brian. But the thing is, it makes too much sense for them to
Yep,
do a direct next Tuesday.
I agree.
So
But I still like to hope and dream.
got it.
Hey, I could be wrong. It could be this Thursday. Or it could
Oh
be before.
man, from your lips.
Yep. Imagine that. Imagine that. Alrighty. Did you guys want to talk about what we've been playing? Because I feel like we're all playing Resident Evil, so there's really nothing else to talk about. Or was there anything else you
Yeah,
wanted to
Um,
mention?
we was all been playing Resident Evil. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Resident Evil.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's nothing else I've been playing with. Oh, there is one thing I do want to mention. So you guys remember the mobile pad controller I had, right, for the Switch? Do you remember me showing you that? I don't have it with me because I don't have my Switch one. I used it on my Switch OLED. It was a controller, and I told you I had a really good grip, and I liked it. They had
Maybe.
it.
Yeah.
I'll share it in the Discord. But for those of you watching, if you watch my mobile pad video on the Switch One, um, where I kind of gave my thoughts on it, and I loved it as a controller. They are releasing a Switch 2 version that snaps right into it, which is pretty cool. They are using TMR sticks, which is nice. It's gonna have HD rumble, which is cool, NFC support. You have the triggers, you have the back buttons. It's shaped pretty cool. It kind of looks almost like the new Legion Go S, how it's kind of like shaped. It has RGB if you care about that thing. I'll shut it off. I'm not gonna care about that. But I think one of the coolest feature it has is that while connected to the Switch 2, you can actually shut off the power. I forget what they call it specifically, but you know how when you plug in your Joy Cons, your Switch 2 is always powering the Joy Cons, right? So it's always charging it. You can actually shut that off so it doesn't drain the battery on the Switch 2,
Hmm.
which will give you longer battery life on the Switch 2, which is kind of cool. I was like, that is an interesting feature. It's a button on the back. You just press it and it shuts off the power. So then what happens is the mobile pads just run off a battery. And then you don't have to worry about the Switch 2 actually charging it. I think that's like one of the coolest features that I've seen. It is $70 right now. You can pre-order it on their website and it ships sometime in April. I forgot exactly what day in April, but it ships in April. There's another version of that controller by Nixie. And I reviewed the Nixie Wizard controller, which is like the GameCube looking controller. That one, it's a pass on me. It's $130 for the same controller. I'm like, nah, that's a pass. I'm not getting that. And it has less features than the mobile pad one. I've already reviewed the mobile pad one. I liked the quality. I thought the feel was good. The D-pad was nice. All the buttons, they're using mechanical switches. So it could be a hit and miss to some people because it is very clicky, but they're very responsive and I liked it. The D-pad was very good. Everything about it was good. I liked it. So I'm excited for this. I definitely gonna pick it up. I will definitely do a review. And yeah, hopefully it's as good as this, which I think it is gonna be.
I just want Hori to release another Split Pad Pro thing.
Yeah, they have. I'm surprised they haven't done one yet. Look into the mobile
I
pad.
know.
It's good. I'm telling you. Like I thought it was the most comfortable. I tried the Hori Split Pad Pro and the Split Pad Compact.
Mhm.
And the compact is good. I just never liked the thumbsticks. Where the thumbsticks on the mobile pad felt exactly like the thumbsticks on, not as good as the Switch 2 controller, but like the Goalie Kick controller I use. They were pretty much the exact same thing. So
Yeah,
uh
link it.
yeah, I'll definitely link it on the Discord for sure.
Do you also
Um
have a
mhm.
YouTube video or short for it?
For the one on the original Switch, yes. I do have
Oh,
a
okay.
a YouTube video. I don't think I did a short on that, but I do have a YouTube video where I gave my review and my thoughts and how much I love it. It's nice. It has
Okay.
turbo,
Okay.
making Final Fantasy 8 easier for the boost mechanic. So that's always a good if you're a Final Fantasy 8 fan.
I gotta like take advantage of the turbo mode sometimes. I have controllers that have turbo mode on them, but I never like actually try to utilize.
Yeah. I'm the same way. It's just the the PS1 controller I used when I played Final Fantasy 8 was so easy to enable turbo that all I had to do was press a button and then press whatever button I wanted to hold, and turbo would go ahead and like be utilized, and then I let go and it'll stop. And I just feel like in order to enable turbo on all these controllers nowadays, it's just a little bit more of a hassle. Not only that, it had a display on it, so I can see what button had activated turbo, which was pretty cool. Very, very awesome third party controller. Like definitely one of my favorite PS1 controllers. I used that for a long time until the wire broke. Yeah. Yeah, PS1 was that era of gaming was good. PS1 and 64 and whatever else was around that time. I can't remember. Cool. Anything else anybody wants to mention before we end today's podcast?
Play Resident Evil 9. Doesn't matter which platform, you love it. Trust me.
Yeah. The optimization is definitely there for every platform. All right. Well, that is the end of today's podcast. Appreciate everybody for joining. Hey, the titles are now changed. I'm actually able to fit the random encounter in the title, and I'm gonna get a little bit more creative. So now it's no longer Trey podcast; it's the Random Encounter podcast on all the titles going forward. So now I think that could be a little bit more, how can I put it, easier to find. And I think I might grab people's eyes because now it's the Random Encounter versus Trey. So like, you kind of figure out like what it's about. So yeah, going forward, it will be the Random Encounter podcast, and it won't be Trey podcast. So if you do look at the playlist, it is kind of weird that everything's Trey podcast, and then it's the Random Encounter podcast there. But yeah, I am excited to keep using that in the name. I'll be back Friday with Eternal Darkness stream, and then of course next Sunday we will have the podcast. So thanks for watching. Don't forget that like and subscribe button. Follow over on Twitch. Ash, where can I catch you at?
You can find me at YouTube at Shrimp.
What about you, Brian?
At red_so_deep on Twitter.
And as always, you can catch me right here at the Random Encounter. We'll catch you guys next time.